That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What is up, my fam? We are back for another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle, being joined by this freaking lovely guy over here, Mr. Zach Burr. Zach, how are we doing this afternoon?
We're just as much of a mess as we always are, Steven.
Always.
Always.
We're gonna have some fun this afternoon. You know, obviously the Flyers and the Penguins just got done. You know, talk some Phillies baseball. They just got another spring training game. You know, Bryce had a bomb yesterday. That was pretty big. Pretty big. You know, Phillies are
a grown man bomb too, bro. So he hit that ball like it's just like. It looked like a normal fly ball to left field that went like 450 feet. Right? It hit a ball over at the tiki bar out there and shit. You're like, who does that? Like, no, like that's not like, you know, guys like Howard and players like that used to do that. Like that's grown man type shit. When he hits home runs, dude, they're fun to watch.
Absolutely. We'll talk a little Eagles. You know, what's the next possible potential roster move that we'll see here? You know, a shocker. In the last few days, as Cameron Johnson, arguably the best player on the team last season, wasn't retained. Obviously, there's a lot of money issues going on here. Punter's not at the top of the list. We'll talk a little UFC, and in our final segment, we'll be joined by Lions fighter Nguyen. Before we get all into that, obviously, this episode is brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. And make sure you guys are checking out our doc, make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, 2 locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill. Like again, he's ours, make him yours. That's specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And something tells me you got something to say today, don't you? You got something to get off your...
Dude, there's so many perfect segues. I mean, we're talking about, therapy over here and, things like that. Maybe that's a good segue. Like, speaking of therapy or something, right? Dr. Zach, can we call it something like that every week if we're going to do Zach's rants? Because, we're not going to talk about it during the show, so I think it's perfect, a perfect type of thing to talk about. Big enough news where people will know what I'm talking about. Greg McDermott and all the hot water he's now in at Creighton. And you want to talk about therapy, Steven. This dude's probably like on like a one-way ticket to some sort of like therapy that's like going to be court mandated. Like, real quick, like
me in, brother.
Training therapy. I mean, listen. We're going to be, we got to be careful with obviously the way that I go about this here. I guess, we don't want to, get too crazy, right? But the bottom line is, I'll cut right to the point with it. He needs to be fired. Like, he needs to be fired more so for than anything else. Just how like stupid, like, and just like how unaware are you of your surroundings in 2021 in a time that we're living in right now, where you see what's going on, where. Like, first of all, who uses the word plantation? What was the last time I heard that word was in a high school history class when I was learning about slavery. So seriously, I'm not buying this dude's apology about how he didn't mean anything by it and shit. I just find it absolutely ridiculous that a basketball coach stood in front of a bunch of players, and we all know there's obviously a lot of black players in that room, and he found that analogy was somehow appropriate and tied everything in with the situation of sticking together. I mean, this dude's just out of his mind. I think he's racist, too. I think he's a racist piece of shit, really, to be honest. But at the very least, he's just, like, completely, like, unaware and ignorant of everything going on around him to a point where he has no business having that job, because he obviously he's supposed to be the leader of that program, right? Creighton University head men's basketball coach, and you're just saying stupid, off the wall shit like this. Like it's just out there to me. Like I heard Nolan Smith from Duke. He's on Duke's coaching staff there, and he came out and said that it's just bizarre. Like it's just a bizarre, like the whole like the analogy is bizarre. Using the word is bizarre. Trying to tie it all in as if it made sense and there wasn't some type of racial connotation is bizarre. The whole thing is just it's so ridiculous. And then I heard that he offered to resign, and Creighton hasn't responded to that yet. They said they're going to keep any sort of discipline in house. Are you fucking crazy? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, the dude, he should, first of all, like, as soon as he offered to resign, it should have been like, yeah, out, peace, thank you, out the door. The fact that this is even they're thinking about, like, I don't know what the hell they're trying to do here. But, like, yeah, he offered to resign. That could have saved you all this. You don't even need to fire him. He offered to resign, and now they're going on 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever the hell however long they're going on since this has all become, like, really, really public and kind of blown up into a big thing, and we've yet to hear anything from Creighton University about his future as the head coach. We heard he was suspended or something, right? Is that what it was? He was some type of sensitivity training type thing.
I guess they're waiting.
Whatever, it's like therapy, like I said. But this whole thing is just fucking ridiculous. I have no idea how. I'm mind blown by it, dude. I really am. Like, I can't believe that like people at that university, players on that basketball program, aren't like demanding that this dude like be gone, like, and done with now. Like there is no more thinking about it. Like it should have been already happened last week type of thing. I just don't understand how it's dragged on this far. I don't understand how it happened in the first place, and then how it's dragged on this far on top of it. But I can't be the only one that finds this crazy. People are gonna be like, "Oh, cancel culture," and this isn't cancel culture. The dude's an idiot. I mean, he's just a flat out dumbass at the very least. And like I've already told you what else I think about him, but it's just stupid. The dude should not be the head coach of a men's basketball program saying dumb shit like that in front of a bunch of college
kids. Being involved around the type of athlete he is, having that way of thinking.
Yeah, that's considered. I mean, like, again, like I said, like people are gonna like. I told you I think he's a racist, but I'll let everybody else form their own opinion with that. But yeah, like to me, you've got that way of thinking, and like that's obviously something that like. It's not just like, I made an analogy and I never said that before. Like, you're out of your fucking mind. Like, yeah, there's definitely some sort of like, you've used that analogy plenty of times in the past or something. This is just the first time it's become like, oops, like somebody like caught it and had a problem with it or something. Yeah, like, yeah, it's absolutely a way of thinking for him. So I'm with you there. That's I am in 100% agree. Even if somebody said I don't think he's a racist, you still can't like argue with me that it's not inappropriate. Like the whole analogy, the whole thing is just like he shouldn't keep his job over. Like you can't like it's just stupid. Like how is that guy the face of your basketball program? Where did you pull that analogy from?
Hey man, I guess it's something. We'll see the trial by fire with our very eyes over the next days, weeks, months, etc. But let's get into this poll question real quick here, and want to get the fans' thought. Is the Carson Wentz trade the worst in Philadelphia sports history? Agree, disagree? Let's hear your thoughts. Is it the worst? Which do you think is the worst if it's not Carson Wentz?
Well, I'm already on the record.
Hear the fans' thoughts, and our poll question is brought to you by Body Check Wellness and their line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extract blends, gummies, topicals. Use promo code HUD for 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. And what is up, boys? Mr. Tommy is in the house.
Tommy. What's going on
with the Barkley trade? Listen,
Barkley trade, yeah,
what do we get? Clarence Weatherspoon and Jeff Hornacek out of that in the return. That was bad, classically bad.
I didn't live through that trade, so I'll take your word on that. That was. Who were the two players you got back?
I mean, if you think about it, prior to Carson Wentz, nothing touched that Barkley trade.
So Clarence Witherspoon
would say when Allen was traded to Denver.
Yeah, I mean Andre Miller though was a decent player at that time. Like he was at least a guy that was like, yeah, like this guy's a really he's a good point guard. He just wasn't Allen Iverson, but it wasn't like Andre Miller was some scrub. He wasn't Eric Snow. Right? He was a good player in his own right. Yeah, I knew the Barkley trade was bad. I didn't know it was like I didn't realize it was Clarence Witherspoon and who else? Who'd you guys get?
Basically, in all retrospect, the only thing you really got out of it was Clarence Witherspoon and Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, that's pretty bad for Barkley. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad for Barkley. I mean, yeah, maybe for me, I could never go there because I didn't live it, I guess, right? But I mean, I'm on the record of my thoughts with the Carson Wentz trade, and I said it months and months and months ago. So it's not like I've flip flopped on this. You can go find the tape, roll the tape, find it. I said if we trade him, it'll be the worst decision in the history of not just the Philadelphia Eagles, but in the history of Philadelphia sports. So I mean, you want to talk about worst trade, worst whatever. I mean, yeah, it's. I feel like it's going to completely blow up in our face. We're going to go watch a guy that's going to play at a high level for years to come, win a lot of big games in Indianapolis, win more Super Bowls, maybe MVPs, and we're going to be sitting here. Who knows what we'll be in 5 years? Maybe we could be really good 5 or 10 years down the road too. But I mean, you can't convince me that it's these people don't want to think that he's going into the perfect situation in Indianapolis to succeed. And these people that think he's not going to have success there, to me, I just think are speaking with such a hate and bias that they don't want to see things for what they are. We're in a disastrous position right now as a franchise, and he could walk his way into a Super Bowl here in the next couple of years.
Listen,
so yeah,
the news over the last week for the Eagles that has been half the team restructuring their contracts. Okay.
Well, and it also turns out, if we want to be honest about it, a lot will come out. What do we get out of is the 3rd round pick and what will probably become the 1st round pick, what we hope becomes the 1st round pick, right? Like, yeah, none of us trust Howie, but say somehow you strike on like an absolute franchise player that you've never, we haven't hit on a guy like that in 20 years, and you finally hit on a guy, because of that pick, and then all of a sudden, that guy plays a big role in winning you a Super Bowl in the future. That conversation, evens out a little bit, but you're not going to convince me until I see it with my own eyes. You know what I mean? Like the way I'm connecting the dots and I see this situation playing out is the same way I've seen it playing out for months. If he ended up in the right position for him, and it wasn't just Indy, I guess in Carson's mind, he thinks Indy's the best position for him. But we mentioned all the teams. We went through all the possibilities, right? From the 49ers to the Patriots to the Colts to the whoever else you could throw in there as a possible fantasy option. Working out some type of fantasy trade with the Texans to get Watson here, Wentz there, and yada yada, and all this nonsense, right? And I've always said if he ends up in the right position, which it looks like he is, he's going to
level. Jake, are you serious? The McCoy trade? I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
Hold on, no, that's awful, Jake. Get out. Jake, get out. I was in the middle of an actually deep, intellectual, articulate thought, and you come out of here with that nonsense. We got a guy who, I know it didn't work out, but Alonzo was a guy that led the league in tackles a year before we traded for him, and you want to bitch about that. We need a linebacker that leads the league in tackles. So I don't want to hear how bad of a trade that was. It was actually smart in football terms at that time. But, yeah, I mean, listen, Carson is going, everything about him being in Indianapolis with Frank Reich, the guy he wants, this is all setting up to him. He's never going to come out and publicly say it, but you can't tell me that he doesn't want to stick it to us every fucking chance he gets. You can't tell me that he doesn't want to go win MVPs and win Super Bowls. And it's not only then a him thing. It's like Frank Reich and him together could be like, ha, Philly, look what happened. Y'all could have had both of us, and instead you got none of us. You got nobody. You get, Doug Peterson's gone. You blew that whole thing up. Killed all that because you got a weasel and a snake that is up there running the organization, and they're just going to sit there and laugh from out there in the Midwest in Indianapolis, where let's be honest, they're going to be super relaxed. The expectations are what they are out there. Nobody's going to be all up in Pittsburgh people because
I like that. I like that.
That's the one, AJ. Yeah, I went to high school with Alan. He's a high school basketball coach at this time. Yeah, that's a good one. The Bynum trade.
Yeah,
I'll blew up in our face really bad.
I'll put Andrew Bynum on the board.
Yeah, that I guess the thing with the Bynum trade was what were the expectations with that? Because you kind of knew there was some risk coming into it, but he was coming off of 2 really, really good years. and he was still like 23 or whatever the hell the deal was. I mean, he was a big part of those Lakers teams those past couple of years before that, where you were like, all right, like, this if the guy could put everything together, that's dominant big man stuff right there. And we were hoping he was going to be like Joel Embiid before Joel Embiid was ever a thing, right? And instead, like, he just blew his knee or his ankle. He hurt his foot. What is it? He hurt his foot in the bowling tournament. Remember? Oh my God! Not only did he get hurt, but it was in an off-season bowling tournament.
But here's the other thing about that: if Andrew Bynum doesn't completely fail and isn't an absolute bad trade, regardless if it's the worst trade or not, we don't have Joel Embiid. If not,
we probably don't have a lot. Yeah, I mean, we probably don't go through the whole tanking process.
More hindsight into that too. Like, yeah, I mean that was horrific, but a lot of good came out of making that bad trade.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't bad though, because here's the thing with it though. Here's the thing with it at the time. Like, it blew up on us, so it became bad. But was it bad in the moment? Like, you saw, like, some of the, like, in the moment, like, bear with me, like we had some optimism for that trade. We were like, hey, this guy puts everything together, stays healthy, he's gonna be a dominant big man in this league. Didn't happen. I think we're almost like, this is the opposite. Like, it's like, oh my God, this has gotten to such, there's no optimism. Like, we got a 3rd and a 2nd round pick out of it. Hopefully that second becomes a 1st. And hopefully something, comes out of those 2 picks, which with Howie is no guarantee. Like, it's a really somber mood with this trade. I mean, this isn't like, we at least had some, like, we were trying to talk ourselves into being optimistic about the Bynum trade. This is like, there's nothing optimistic about the Carson trade. Like, we're all just like, unless you're Joe Giglio, there's nothing, that gets you, excited about this. You're just like, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. And then we're all sitting here with that, like, kind of the pit in our stomach, just hoping, oh my God, we all know what Howie's going to do. Watch, he's going to go draft a quarterback at 6, and I'm going to have to, like, fucking jump off the bridge down. I'm going to drive myself off the bridge or down here in Clearwater. I swear to God, right down here in Tampa, just going to drive right off the side of it, right into the Gulf of Mexico.
All right, so this is why I'm going to sit there and say, like, there's layers to this. Why it's just over the top bad, because the assets you gave up to go get them, right? The money you invest them in him, and then and before you even the ink really even settles and you even file that thing away, you're moving them out for not nearly half the assets you used to get them, nor a quarter of the assets that at least half the people feel you should have got for them, because of the situation you made here. We could say the Barkley trade and everything like that, but both of these situations are similar, where just the relationship with management was broken and the player didn't want to play here anymore.
I thought of the Roland trade earlier. I don't think, I thought of it like the best player we got out of that was a young Placido Polanco, I guess. And like I was like, all right, like, but I don't need, like, I think Bud Smith was the guy that was supposed to be the top prospect in that trade. And you felt like at the time, maybe we should have gotten more and we didn't.
That was another thing that you just never.
But you talk about broken relationships, right? He had a broken relationship with the front office.
Don't play there anymore, and you don't have anything to kind of bargain with. You get fleeced.
The Schilling trade, when we traded Schilling, I mean, we got Vicente Padilla, Travis Lee, like Omar Dahl out of it. I mean, like, for Kurt Schilling, for a guy that's like a Hall of Famer, like a dude that was like at the top of his game, like striking out 300 batters in a season, and if he was on a better team, being a Cy Young combo, and we got
some time to digest a little bit on this. Want to get on to touch on some of our topics for this afternoon. Obviously, the Phillies had a game this afternoon, spring training against the Blue Jays. Didn't go so well this afternoon. They lost 7-1. The nice little streak they were on. 3-0 shutout.
You know what? You can't tell me there's not something
against the Yankees.
You can't tell me there's not some substance to this team, Steven. You get some little bit. There's some mojo. You get a little excitement for this Phillies team. Like for the first time in a long time, like really, I'm fired up for opening day, right? Like I was excited last year. I'm fired up for opening day this year.
Listen,
up. Because you know what? Here's what I got. Anything that we're going to need throughout the course of the year, if we need pitching, Dombrowski will get it. Whatever we need, I trust Dombrowski to go get what we need when we need it, and not be afraid to pull the trigger and make it happen.
so
And he's got the track record to back it up.
As spring training has gotten here, and you're starting to see a little bit more of this team, your confidence in this team is it's playoff or bust, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I like their confidence in themselves. I like the way that they're talking about themselves. They feel like they're a playoff team. That's how they're looking at this. Like, they felt like they should have been there last year. Like, that's a team that, like, to me is like, yeah, like, yo, I'm excited to watch you guys play together. They're all excited to be back. Like, there's kind of like a camaraderie there that seemed like has built now over the past couple of years. And that was like last year they thought they could be good. Now this year they know they can be good. Now you just got to go out and do it. I mean, you got Girardi as your manager. Dombrowski's the guy, calling the shots in the front office. It's a championship combination. There's no excuses there. Like, go make it happen. You got the veteran chip, the pitching,
out of the
and
short sample size that you've gotten out of spring training. Who's catching your eye?
People are going to rip me for this. People can say what they want. I've liked what I've seen from Mickey Moniak so far. And I think he's a guy that after the Hazley injury, you know what? The dude deserves to make the big league roster. I don't, at this point, the Herrera thing, I'm just done with it. I don't, I don't know if it had, it obviously has a lot to do with the domestic, incident, but just on top of it, like, he was just starting to drive me crazy to a point where it was just
been either really hot or really cold. He's never really.
It's just starting to drive me crazy. Like, I don't need that. That type of shit was okay. All the hot dog shit, all the airhead nonsense. All the out there BS. The extracurricular nonsense. It was all right when you had a young team and you were growing and you were trying to learn how to win and grow as a young baseball team. I don't need any of that nonsense now. When we feel like, hey, we're ready to go out. We're ready to compete in the National League East. We want to try to, we think we're a playoff team. I don't need that shit. Fuck that. He can. Is he really that good of a player? I know he was an all-star one year. Good for him. Is he really that good? That was because we suck. Who else was going to be an all-star that year, right? Is he really that? Like, I don't need to go through this whole headache. He's a headache at times. He really is. Don't act like he's not. I hate to be mean. Like, I don't want people to people are going to rip me for that too, because I know people love second chances. He deserves a second chance, sure. Let that second chance be somewhere else. You think somebody else ain't going to pick him up and give him a second chance? Sure they will. But I don't need that headache here. I just don't. I got enough options in center field. I got Moniak, Hazley. I got enough options. I don't need Herrera.
He thinks Baum's gonna be hitting close to 30 this season.
Bohm could have a solid you remember like early Pat Burrell type year with like 2002 when Burrell hit, kind of exploded and came on the scene, had his best year. I could see something like that from Bohm. He's hitting. Think about he's going to have Harper around him in the lineup. McCutchen hopefully is going to be healthy. You got a lot of other options there where you're hoping there's a lot of different guys that take that step forward that are Kingery hopefully is a guy that's consistently in your lineup. Right, Hoskins hopefully is kind of like taking that step forward for a whole year. It seemed like it took him half the year last year to figure it out almost. Right, he got for the whole second half of the year. Come August, he finally seemed to be figuring it out and getting back to the guy that we saw when he first came up. There's a lot to you if you say, okay, if everything works the way it's supposed to, right? It's no reason why a guy like that isn't in a perfect situation in the lineup to be successful. He's got Harper, he's got Hoskins, McCutchen, Realmuto, all these guys around him. He can go out and eat. Hey, you just go attack. Attack early in the count, attack fastballs. There's going to be a situation where they can't pitch to all you. Right? You're the young guy in that group. They're not going to, they're not going to pitch to Harper or Realmuto over you. So they pitch to Bohm, and hopefully he can capitalize and capitalize off of having a lot of guys on base and being a run producer in the middle of the lineup. I think the guy, I'm not worried about Bohm. That's why I didn't bring him out. I think the guy I'm more like worried, or not worried about, but I want to see can he take that next step? What's he going to be as Spencer Howard? Because I'm really excited about the kid, but at the same time, it was, some hit and miss last year. You saw some really good stuff, and you saw some stuff where you're like, oh, yeah, that's not too good. So, we need him to be a guy that grows into a 3 or 4 in the rotation consistently, and not grow into Gavin Floyd. You know, it's like, we're gonna bring back. Oh my God, like I'm starting to give Phillies fans heart attacks. Gavin Floyd was that guy. Like, he was that young stud puppy the young stud puppy coming up through the system that was supposed to be the next big arm, and he just, I mean, not only did he flake, I mean, he was the bust of all busts here, right? I mean, dude was just nothing. He just traded him to Chicago, and
boys are back at it again tomorrow. One, get the Yankees.
So, that's. I want, how at the very least Spencer Howard needs to try to turn into more like a Brett Myers, right? I need, like, at the very least, he can give me like a Brett Myers type career. That's solid. I don't need him to be a 1, but I need him to be solid for me.
So Wilson's weighing in on the poll question here. he likes the Barkley.
The Barkley trade. There seems to be a consensus on like the Barkley trade.
Here's another one that we forgot: the Ryan Sandberg. That was big.
That's a good one, Will. So that's a really good one. Larry Bowa, Ryan Sandberg, the Cubs.
And the one that none of us mentioned because we never think of it because of who we got will always be, like, as much as I'm complaining about the Carson Wentz trade, you reminded me of that one I totally forgot about on the other side of things is the Eric Lindros trade. Give up way too much to get him. That turned, like, Peter Forsberg, Joe Sat. Like, I mean, the name of guys you basically gave up to go get him.
If you want to get a little outside the box, and you could think of like a really bad one. Maybe it doesn't involve players in the set. Well, it does, but it doesn't. You could go back to the Mike Mamula draft where we traded up. And, all those picks that we ended up trading, we ended up going up to get Mamula, I believe it was, when Warren Sapp was still on the board.
Warren Sapp.
And
I'll never forget.
Those picks end up going to Tampa. They took Warren Sapp and they got Derek Brooks out of so 2 picks ended up going to Tampa, and those picks turned into Sapp and Derek Brooks. Now,
so 2 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, 2 Hall of Famers. Now, if we were trading up there, you should have been traded up for Warren Sapp. Well, you can't tell me when you saw him trade up, like, go to number 9. You're like, oh, yeah, they're going up to get Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
When I was watching that, I'm like, oh, we have to be getting this guy. Man, this is the guy that
You'd already fall. You're like, oh, like, what a perfect scenario. Stepping up to get Sapp. That would have been one of the greatest trades in Philadelphia sports history, right? Can you imagine that, dude? Could you imagine Warren Sapp on, like, those Andy Reid Eagles teams in the early 2000s? In like 99, 2000, 2001.
What was that?
He's saying he's making fun of me because he said because I said that Rager on film, I thought, like, his upside, like, if you were, like, trying to be optimistic, you say what can the best a player can be. He reminded me of Steve Smith. I never said the guy is Steve Smith, but that's what people do when they want to. Like, what do you think he could be? I was like, I hope he could be like something close to what Steve Smith was. But like, obviously that's
now Ted brings to the Barkley. The Barkley thing is because we've never seen MVP Barkley here. We've gotten unmotivated Barkley here. You finally seen MVP Barkley when he got to freaking Phoenix, right? So we did get MVP Carson and he won a Super Bowl here. So I guess in his eyes, that's why it's worse. But yes, absolutely. Yeah, we did get rid of Hextall in that Lindros trade. Yes. If I remember correctly, didn't that make Dominic Roussel the starter at the time? As Zach's like, yeah, you're asking the wrong person, bro.
I didn't think you were asking me. I was hoping you were asking Ted or somebody else.
Zach just gave me this blank stare, like, bro. And speaking of the Flyers, we gotta talk. We gotta talk a little bit about that. You had to know this is coming. I know you don't want to hear it. That. Been playing pretty good. A lot of people been rough on them. Unfortunately, took a 4-3 L to the Penguins today.
How are they losing to the Penguins? How are they still losing to the Penguins? You want to talk Flyers hockey, and they're over here losing to the Penguins. Dude, the Penguins are like so old and slow. They might as well be the Penguin from Batman.
Man, you going after Crosby and Malkin like that?
No, dude,
they're old and slow now.
That whole team, they just, dude, who would have thought at this point in their careers that Ovechkin's now the better player between Crosby and Ovechkin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, funny.
Oh,
yeah, we were
listen.
Peter Forsberg away from the cup, and you basically gave away Peter Forsberg. Oh, man. Man. That's just too much. Too much for me. But let's before I forget about it, this next segment of the weekly roundup here on ATD Radio, want to get our sponsor shout out here, and many of us and our families deal with mental health and addiction issues, and we're happy to support the counseling center at Sun Detox. If you need any help, or you know anyone that needs any help, please call 856-651-8117. Again, that's 856-651-8117. Tell me to use that to you. What's up? And again, back to the Bynum trade, Frank. But again, like we said before, Frank.
At the time, it wasn't.
That bad trade and that failure of a trade brought us Joel Embiid. So is it really that bad? I mean, it was bad at the time. It began the process.
No, but even at the time, we thought that Bynum was a guy like this guy, and it wasn't like he got hurt bowling. It wasn't like the chronic knee injuries and all that. They were like, all right, but he was past that. He was coming off of 2 solid years, like really, really good years for a center in the NBA. Go look up what his numbers were the 2 years before he got traded. Like, we thought we were getting a dynamic big man, a guy that, hey, this is a really, really good player. And then it just blew up so quick. I mean, within like a month of him getting traded here or whatever, he fucking broke his foot in the stupid bowling incident.
And he's gone.
But at the time,
and like that, he's gone.
at the time, I mean, I think we're trying to be a little bit like, that wasn't that long ago. As Sixers fans, we were excited about that trade at the time. There wasn't like anything to not be excited about. Like, we didn't feel like we were, I guess maybe the disappointing thing in the trade was the fact that Dwight Howard was going to Los Angeles and not to Philly. Maybe that was the only thing out of it. Like, what could have made that trade better was I mean, people upset that Andre Iguodala got traded in that deal or something, right? When what happened, and people got upset because Iggy went to Detroit in that, or went to Denver in that deal.
That has a point. If not for that trade, we wouldn't be where we are now. Plus, we ended up getting Howard anyway. He left the Lakers in and came here.
If anything, like I said, like, he left the Lakers and then went to Houston, right? It was like, then he was, like you got like a guy that's out of the Western Conference. He was the most dominant big man in the game at the time. He was playing in the Western Conference. If Bynum could have been healthy and could have been like, a great big man here, who was he really competing with in the Eastern Conference as far as big men went that were going to like be able to shut him down? There wasn't really one. He had the ability to be that guy. It's unfortunate, and it blew up and it looks really, really bad now. But I'll tell you what, there was plenty of people. I remember when we made the Roy Halladay trade, and I wasn't one of them. I loved the trade at the time, but I remember arguing with plenty of baseball people that were trying to convince me that that was a bad trade, that we gave up too much to get a guy that was in a declining stage of his career, that, yada, 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 and all these things. And, next thing you know, we got the best pitcher in baseball for the next 4 years or whatever it is, and he's winning a Cy Young Award and pitching postseason no-hitters. But I argued with people that told me we gave up too much in that deal, and at the time, hey, it's that deal. Any of those people that try to say we gave up too much, they look really stupid in hindsight, right? So that works both ways. You can look at hindsight and the trade in both in two different ways, in the future, and try to play it like that. I just want to look at in the moment. I'm not looking at the results. I'm trying to look at in the moment. How good was a trade, right? Like, in the moment, it did. Now, Clarence Witherspoon could have gone on to win an MVP award. Right? Everybody knew it wasn't going to happen, but in the moment, it was a terrible trade, right? Like, maybe a better example is like the Kurt Schilling trade, right? Like Vicente Padilla, Omar Dahl, like Travis Lee, like it didn't matter what those guys accomplished. Like Padilla was an all-star. Vicente Padilla was an all-star for us in 2002.
What about this?
Still didn't, feel like you got anywhere near enough in a trade for Kurt Schilling, right? Like,
what about when the Flyers traded Bob Bobrovsky?
I mean, you'd have to talk to more Flyers fans on that. That's recent memory, though, but you'd have to talk to more Flyers people with that one. What did they get with that? I mean, he was a young goaltender, I remember.
We still didn't recover until we got Hart from the goaltending standpoint.
I mean, yeah, but what did they get? What did they get in return? Nothing?
I think it was like a second.
Shen.
I think it was like a second, a fourth, and then like another later round.
Braden Shen. Yeah, that's a pretty bad trade too. Yeah.
Considering like at that time, like Bobrovsky was the best goaltender in the NHL.
Yeah.
No, another one we didn't mention is when the Sixers in the '80s traded away Moses Malone, and they basically got like I think it was like Jeff Rutland and Cliff Robinson.
Can we put the Cliff Lee trade in there? I think it. People might like stick with me here because people might be like, "What, the Cliff Lee trade?" Remember when we traded for him in 2009, right? And he was like kind of like the guy we needed because Cole wasn't quite pitching at the ace level in 2009 the way we needed, so we traded for Lee. And we made the run through the playoffs.
When the Flyers had Patrick Sharp and they traded him away, and he wound up winning how many cups and freaking.
Well, yeah. Let's get into that in 1 second. We'll get into that in 1 second. But stick with me with the Lee trade, with the Cliff Lee trade, right? Like once we traded him after that 2009 season, we traded him to Seattle, right? And we got like Philippe Almont was like supposed to be the best prospect in that trade, right? When we traded him to Seattle. Like, could you imagine if we had him, go along, with, we missed 1 year of having him. Remember, we traded him to Seattle. He ended up being in Seattle. Seattle traded him to Texas that year. We re-signed him after the 2010 season, going into 2011, right? So, like, what if we would have had Cliff Lee on that 2010 team? If it were, instead of like trading Cliff Lee at the end of 2009, what if we could have signed Lee long term, made the Halladay trade, and had Halladay, Lee, and Hamels on that 2010 team? That's still a team there that like maybe we go win another World Series over the Giants. We missed out on one big year with Lee there, right? And we waited till 2011. We re-signed him going into 2011. But I mean, we always talk about how we should have won at least one more World Series with that, in that little run there from 2007 to 2011, right? We were a good enough team. We should have probably won more than just one, and we didn't. That's a trade that at the time didn't make any sense, did it? Like, you remember the first Cliff Lee trade? Did it make trading him to Seattle for Philippe Almont? Like, that didn't make sense at the time, right?
It was like he was the guy that was available. Like, yeah, go ahead, we'll take him.
Yeah, but then after we made that trade, we went and traded for Halladay, which was like, well, why the hell? Like it didn't make any sense. We could have just signed him and then also traded for Halladay and had all three. We waited till 2011. Then in 2011, we had all three. And eventually we traded for Oswalt in 2011 and had four, right? But it was like you could have just signed Lee, or kept Lee. Lee was under contract for one more year there in 2009. You literally could have, going into 2010, and we literally could have had Halladay, Lee, and Hamels all under contract at the same time, make it a run at another World Series. Like, it just didn't make sense. I don't know. It's people have a lot of other ones that seems to be on their mind. There's some good Flyers ones. You guys are right about there being good Flyers ones. I'm obviously just not the Flyers guys. I'm with you. Cliff Lee dominated the Yankees in Game 1. Yeah, absolutely. How the hell do you come off that 2009 performance in the World Series? See, Greg's with me there a little bit. So that's all. I mean, it put it in the conversation at least. How do you come off that performance in the World Series and not and make that trade to the Mariners?
I forgot another one is we also traded away. I think it was like the early 2000s. What was it? The Conn Smythe kid was Justin Williams or whatever his way.
I don't remember that one in the early. I'm trying to think of who we We had Gio Gonzalez in our system at one point. We traded him away.
Oh, Phillies one. Yeah.
We traded Gio Gonzalez away.
And Gavin
Now
Floyd.
that wasn't a bad trade.
And Gavin Floyd. We basically gave them away.
Well, yeah, that one it was. We got him. We traded Tommy to the White Sox. We got Gio Gonzalez in that deal, and then we spun Gio Gonzalez and Gavin Floyd in the deal back to Chicago to get Freddie Garcia, who just blew up in our fucking face. Oh my God! In 2007. Yeah, but yeah, there's another one. Imagine if we would hang on to Gio Gonzalez and the pitcher that he becomes on like that 2010, 2011 team for us. You know, I mean, like there's some stuff there in there where you're like, Jesus, the fuck? Why did that have to happen?
Yeah, the Patrick Sharp one. We gave them Eric Malucci, and then we got Matt Ellison in the third rounder. So yeah, so twice the Flyers traded away guys that probably could have helped them win cups.
Sounds about. I mean, that's what we do in this city. That's not just a Flyers thing. That's what we do here. It's what we do. Contagious. Jason Williams. I thought you were talking about white chocolate, like the basketball player from Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll recategorize this one worse. Who makes worse trades in Philadelphia of the four? Is it the Flyers?
I don't know. The Phillies have made some notoriously bad ones all throughout their history, like all throughout it. Wilson nailed it with the Sandberg trade. I mean, the history of that, you know, Dallas Green was obviously our manager in 1980, right? Then left to go run the Chicago Cubs in 81. We did good. Yeah, we got Aaron Lowen and we got Aaron Lowen and Gio Gonzalez.
At least Greg and Ted are in agreement that the Flyers are at the very least the worst.
They probably have some more high impact ones. I'm more of a baseball guy, so you know I'm always going to go Phillies there. You Flyers guys, I can understand your pain and your anguish. There's been some bad ones, yeah, but you know,
it's not bad. It's like
you're talking about. Hold on though. You're talking about Ryan Sandberg went on to be a Hall of Famer, right? And one of the greatest second basemen ever. And when Dallas Green went to the Cubs to run the Cubs in '81, when the Phillies wanted to trade Larry Bowa, I mean, he literally was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take Bowa, but you've got to give me this Sandberg kid." Like they literally just gave Sandberg away for nothing in that deal, and the dude went on to be like one of the greatest hitting second basemen ever. I don't like that. That's so awful. Like how that all came to be. Like. I can't understand how they didn't demand more. Oh, well, if we're giving him up, we need something else in return. The whole thing was crazy.
Such a time to be a Philadelphia fan, eh, Ted? Yeah, we can't forget about that one. Like that was bad. Another one of the bad ones. And the Sixers have to be up there.
Well, they got the wrong guy, right? I mean,
to the part that we just basically draft badly. We rarely get those stars you do get. And then we pretty much trade them, and the ones that you do get, they don't want to be here. And they're traded in their primes for next to nothing.
You want a bad trade, I'll give you the Bobby Abreu trade because we literally got absolutely nothing out of the Abreu trade. We didn't even get a guy that ever made a major league appearance out of the Bobby Abreu trade. We traded Bobby Abreu and Corey Lytle to the Yankees for 4 minor league prospects, and none of them ever played a day in the big leagues for us. That's a pretty bad trade.
Yeah, considering what he was at the time, right?
Considering he was coming off back-to-back All-Star appearances, yeah. I mean, I'm not the biggest Bobby Abreu fan, but yeah, I mean, the guy was, and he had productive years after that. He signed with the Angels and was productive. Yeah, I mean. I'm just saying we should have gotten at least something. Like, hey, you got to give me a solid bullpen guy. I mean, something. We traded for
at least
four minor league guys. 4 minor league guys. C.J. Henry was the top guy in that trade. I'll never forget it. He was a 2005 first-round pick by the Yankees. He was a shortstop, and the dude ended up having like a 220 career minor league batting average or something stupid. Like it was just. I mean, like it was just like not like I don't understand how like it was like that bad. Like I don't see how you just like stumble into at least one guy by accident. You got 4 prospects and none of them were any good. They couldn't even play in the big leagues, not one. Thank God Gillick won a World Series, or else that trade really would have looked bad.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, the way that whole thing wound up playing out, we even got as much as I sit there and say it, we got lucky that we got Tampa Bay, not the Yankees.
Yeah, there was
played out the following year.
Angels. We could have gotten the Angels in 08. They probably would have been a bad matchup for us. There was the Red Sox were in that World Series, in that playoff series. They would have been a really bad matchup for us. They were trying to go back to back.
Appreciate the love, Ted. Now, before we lose too much time, obviously, no Sixers. We're on the NBA All-Star break. As we are in NBA All-Star weekend, what are you looking forward to? Do you like what NBA does with the All-Star game? Do you felt like they should have held on something they did this year because there was no fans? Skills competition, 3-point competition. Is there anything you're looking forward to?
I might watch the 3-point competition. I might watch the dunk contest. If it gets boring, I'll turn it off real quick. This is usually the time of year I go back and I find like Vince Carter yamming on people in like the 2000 dunk contest when he's sticking his arm in the rim and shit. And like, I reminisce about the days of old when there was actually good dunk contests that meant something and people were excited and fired up.
A lot of people have kind of grown tired of the NBA's All-Star Weekend skills competition thing. A lot of people feel like it's getting dry. Do you think with the dunk competitions, they should bring back old winners to compete? Like all right, you go through it, the winners won it, right? But then you do like a special round for like the guy's charity, and they're
I don't know. Really, I don't know what they could possibly do with it.
Kind of bring back.
The best thing, like I think on a natural, like normal year, the easiest way to maybe do it would to be find some way to have like an NBA All-Star, NHL All-Star combo weekend, and find a way to put both of them together and just this big, massive, All-Star event that covers both sports, and see what you could do with it like that. I think you could have a lot of fun, and I think they kind of both sports go over a similar time of the year where you could find a way to maybe make it work.
So basketball and what?
How about that for an idea? You like that one?
Basketball and what?
If you had an NBA NHL All-Star weekend, you combine them into this massive 4-day event that started on like Thursday night, and it all went, and then the weekend you have Saturday, all day Saturday you've got both things going on, and if you're in a city, you're in somewhere where you've obviously got the ability to, Vegas, you've got multiple arenas you could use. You're in, with the NHL, they might want to do some type of outdoor event for the All-Star thing, while the NBA event is
what it would limit some cities where what if their basketball team and their hockey team isn't in the same building, like how you have we have.
So that's why I said maybe you do the NHL All-Star, you do the NHL stuff outdoors. You find a way to do that outdoors somewhere. It's like you're in a city where it's synced up, where so the NHL can do their event outdoors, since they seem to like this new outdoor thing that they do, and the NBA could do it in the arena indoors. You know what I mean? Something like that. But listen. That's the most exciting idea, out of anything that you could it's so dead. You could give me a bunch of midgets running around playing in a midget basketball game, and I swear to God, we could have a wrestling event at halftime of it.
If you look at all the sports, all the
All-Star games, they're just all the only one that's really any fun so far still is baseball, but that's because baseball has consistently changed to be like, all right, let's have some fun with it and see what we can do to change it around. The home run derby is completely different now than it used to be, right? They've had some fun with changing around the dynamic of the event to try to keep up with the times and make it fun for everybody. And it's always going to be fun to watch guys hit home run 600 feet. That'll never, that's always going to be
fun. Right.
Maybe they need to do like a motocross event, like yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you need to combine like the NBA All-Star game with like the X Games, like put it all fucking together at the same fucking time.
Figure out something to do with it because like all the sports, like the Pro Bowl means absolutely nothing. Any.
Yeah, that's another one. That's another one. You know, if you're gonna do that, you know, like yeah, you find a way to combine that with something else. You got to find a way to turn it into.
And I think
something really cool. You know,
the Pro Bowl should be done at the beginning of the following season.
How about you combine
when they're doing the whole thing with like Hall of Fame thing where they do the Hall of Fame game, right?
Yeah, they could do it then, sure.
That's where they should probably do the Pro Bowl to kick off the season from the previous year's one. So you don't also not just that, you don't have the thing where this person's saying they can't make it, this person's hurt, this person's that.
Sure. That's not a bad idea. Anything. Hey, play the All-Star game in Cooperstown at the site of the Baseball Hall of Fame. You know, give me something where it's like, hey, like, you know, play the All-Star game at the Little League World Series complex. Combine, you know, find a way to sync up the Major League Baseball All-Star game at the same time the Little League World Series is going on, and find a way to make it some type of super event where the Little League World Series kids get to come play at the fucking Big League All-Star Stadium, and it's this, you know, great event that they'll never forget in their 12-year-old, you know, they're 12 years old and they're never going to forget it ever in their lives. Give us something, you know. Hell, that's a better idea than what we've currently got going on. It really is.
I'm with you there, Ted. Do whatever you want. Just keep Ben and JoJo out of it for the second. We need him for the second. Hey, listen. If I'm them, I'll be like, listen. Can I get all my minutes in the first half so I could just chill out?
sync up the NBA All-Star game with WWE WrestleMania, and we'll have it all fucking going on the same massive super weekend. And since Shaq likes wrestling and everything anyway, it's all fucking perfect. You just saw him get put through a table. Did you see that shit?
All right, so
he was wrestling on AEW, got powerbombed through a table.
I think that's why Ted said something about that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So seriously, I didn't even see that coming. Yeah, seriously. I mean, like that's a better idea than anything else. Like hell.
For everything on, let me read this off to you. For the participants for the skills channel, Robert Covington. Starting off there, Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, Julius Randle, Demarcus Sabonis. 3-point competition. Mike Conley, Jaylen Brown, Steph Curry, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. Yeah. Like, listen, all right, so what's it going to be between Mitchell and Curry, and Curry's going to wind up winning that one? Exactly. And there's, 3 guys in the dunk competition?
Yeah, they bring back the celebrity game? That was the best part about the whole NBA weekend for the longest fucking time, was watching Kevin Hart and Justin Bieber like cross each other up and hit threes in each other's face. Like, holy shit! Yeah, we need a celebrity slam dunk contest. Hey, Steven, you remember Steven?
It'll be happen.
Remember in 1993?
That's what I'm saying. There's no one in the slam dunk competition that people even care about.
Steven. Remember in 1993 when Major League Baseball had their All-Star game at Camden Yards and they had the celebrity home run hitting contest and people like Bill Murray competed in it and shit like that. Like that's what we need. We need like a celebrity dunk contest. Like some ways like you lower the rim to like 7 feet or something stupid, you know, so they fucking do whatever. But like I need to see like Kevin Hart and Justin Bieber yamming on people. Like you want to give me something entertaining, have it's like team up a celebrity with one of like the NBA guys, like Justin Bieber is on the same team as Zach LaVine or whatever. Kevin Hart's on the same team as Steph Curry. And it's a combo 3-point contest, right? Like the celebrity shooting with the player that they're paired up with or something.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Roku, seriously, that's what I said.
This is how hurting they are for people in a skill contest. Well, Booker's hurt, so he couldn't play anyway. But yeah, he didn't make it, which is an absolute disgrace.
Nobody's in the slam dunk competition. It's nobody.
Because it's boring. Nobody they're like, what? Like, there's nothing else you can do. You need to literally bring out some like stripper and like bounce a ball off her titties as you dunk it or something. Like they'll be like, oh, that's something I've never seen before. Like, yeah, like no, she just shot the basketball out of her snatch and he caught it with one hand and like slammed it home. I've never seen that before in the dunk contest. That's the new one, Steven. That's a new one.
What's up, Groom?
The human pitching machine. Like the scene from Beer League. Remember the movie Beer League with Artie Lang? Have you ever seen that? He's got the stripper that's shooting the ping pong balls out of her pussy, and it's yeah, he's calling the human pitching machine. Yeah, give me one like that. Like, he shoots the basketball out and he catches it and yams it home. Like, there we go. Now we're talking. Now that's a slam dunk contest.
Oh my God. Somebody stop Zach. He's off his meds. What's up, Chrome?
Don't lie. That would be an entertaining. Like you'd be like, I'd watch that slam dunk contest.
I mean, like, listen.
Wouldn't LeBron would go up the dunk and like miss and like fall and be like, oh, I got hit in the head, but like his own like the dude would toss him the ball and he'd act like he got smacked up the side of the head.
I think we declared the Sandberg deal was bad, but it wasn't the worst.
Now I might be with Clem. The Sandberg deal might be the worst because you gave away. I mean, literally, because Larry Bow is a borderline Hall of Famer too. But like, you gave away two borderline Hall of Famers and got nothing. Got absolutely nothing. It really is. It could be on that level of terrible.
I would probably say up until about 10 years ago or so, you're probably right that the
I mean, we know where I'm at with the Carson Wentz trade. So, but I mean, outside of that,
Carson is a top 3, but Lindros has to be in there because of what you gave up to get him.
Yeah, but at the time, but then you got him, and then when he was with the Flyers, there was a time with the Flyers where he was the best player in hockey. And that when the year there in the mid-90s, they should have won the Stanley Cup. I mean, they should have. They were probably the best team in hockey, and where they lost to the Red Wings or whatever it was that year, correct? 95 or whatever the fuck the year with Lindros, where they were just dirty. They had the three-man line that they were just so devastating. They were arguably the best team in hockey, and he was the best player in hockey. So, I mean, I know it didn't end the way he wanted.
That's crazy with this. Listen to this one.
That'd be funny. Beetlejuice died, I believe, though. Beetlejuice, yeah, I think he died, unfortunately. Half the whack pack is gone.
Again, bro. Can't say it again. You said it twice.
Half the whack pack is gone.
Oh man, yeah, right. Crazy. But moving forward, after the All-Star break. What are you looking for? What are you saying? What are your projections for the Sixers?
What kind of question is that? Can you give me some good material up in here? Can I get some good questions?
You're seeing guys getting bought out now. We're gonna start seeing some trades. We're seeing rumors that Maury's involved with 3 different other teams, and we're gonna get Zach LaVine here. Like what?
It's not a bad piece. Zach LaVine's not a piece. You know what I like about Zach LaVine is that he's worked hard to make himself the player that he is. And you always got to love that. And a guy that's going to come in and be a role player for you, right? Like, he's not going to come in here. He might start. He might play some shooting guard and stuff, but that's just because, we're playing him over Danny Green and Seth Curry type of thing, right? But, like, he's a guy that is going to come in here and fit a role, and you got to love when guys understand how to fit that role. And, I can remember a time when Zach LaVine, we all remember a time when he was at Timberwolves where he was literally a guy that was just known for flashy dunks and throwing down, big, hard, flashy dunks, and he really wasn't, much, more than that. And he's really, really worked hard since getting to Chicago and everything else to make himself into more of a complete player. Is he a superstar? No. But he's a solid enough player where, that's a really, really good pickup for a team like this. A really good pickup.
Now here's another side of the thing. Like we're seeing some of these buyouts. You see Boogie going on there. You just seen Blake Griffin get bought out, and
I would 100% bring Blake Griffin. I would 100%.
Giving the Sixers problems.
Yeah, I would 100% bring in Blake Griffin, just because you can't ever have too many like physical big men. You know what I mean? Like he's a physical big guy, and I think a thing here is big thing for him is we're not asking you to play 30 or 40 minutes and be the best player on the team. Like, dude, just come in here and like, dude, you're gonna eat. Like, whenever Blake Griffin's in the game and Joel Embiid's in the game and Ben Simmons is in the game, like, you can't, like, who's guarding Blake Griffin all of a sudden? Like, he's just gonna like. He's just going to body up somebody that's smaller than him and be able to really, have a lot of fun playing on this team if he were to be here. I actually would really like him as a signing.
You have like Embiid, Simmons, Griffin, Harris, and Curry on the floor. That'd be.
You're talking about like that's just tough. It's tough to guard all of those guys. They all do real good.
So you would like to see Morey go after
fundamental perspective
trade and go after the Blake Griffin as a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, you can do both. Why not? Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, think about how much of a complete team you all of a sudden are.
Who you take if you do that? Who are you going to take minutes from? And
it doesn't matter. Danny Green can sit. Seth Curry can sit. Tyrese Maxey can sit. They can all rotate for like you play the hot hand. Whoever's hot right now, we're playing. Doc Rivers knows how to figure all that out. He's been there, done that. And he's done all of it multiple times too successfully. Did it in Boston. Dude, think about how deep those Boston teams were, and Doc had to figure out a way to keep everybody happy. Keep everybody playing enough minutes where everybody was happy. With a lot of hostile, personalities too. People like Rajon Rondo on those teams, where it's like, it can explode like that, and he blows up, and it's, just something triggers him, and it's like, it's gone. Kevin Garnett, made Big Baby Davis cry on the Celtics bench one day. One of the greatest fucking moments. I never forget it. It is one of the greatest moments in NBA history in my book. It's up there with Pedro Martinez throwing Don Zimmer to the ground face first. Like, it's one of the greatest moments in baseball history. I love it. Love when shit like that happens. But yeah, I mean, Doc, I'll trust Doc to handle all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you can't tell me, look at this team top to bottom. You bring in, you find a way to get Levine here. Obviously, somebody's going to be out. Like who was it involved in the conversation for the Zach LaVine trade? Was it talked about who was?
I don't know, but I would assume like Matisse or somebody like that.
Matisse Thybulle on a pick or something like that, probably, right?
It might also be Maxey too. You never know. You never know, brother.
You know how I feel about that, but
yeah,
I mean,
I know.
Listen, if you're telling me we bring it, just look at that lineup, top to bottom there. You got Simmons, you got Levine, you got Embiid, Blake Griffin,
hold on,
Tobias Harris, Danny Green, Seth Curry. Who we're talking about? Even if Maxey, you thought one of them. So okay, you're not giving up both of them probably in the Levine deal. You're 8 or 9 deep, and like you're talking about not just like a couple fringe guys in there. You're talking about like 9 deep. All 9 guys can play at a solid level for you, type of thing.
Yes, sir. But our next segment.
You got to put Howard in that conversation too.
Body Check Wellness and their line of products that promote wellness and balance of recovery. You're using the full potential of hemp. They come in extract, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. And as we get into it, we told you we talk some football. I know you want to talk some Eagles. Like I said, a lot of things have happened over the last week there. More than a handful of guys have restructured. Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Slay. And punter Cameron Johnson was not retained.
Sean Jeffrey's gone. They said he's not going to be back.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the foregone conclusion. We already know that that's the next potential one. I want to know what your thoughts on, like, outside of the, we already know he's gone. Even though as much as crazy as it could sound, you could still very well wind up still having Zach Ertz here, regardless if he doesn't want to play here or not.
it tells me they're trying to free up enough cap space to probably sign a solid backup quarterback. I think they want to sign Jacoby Brissett or somebody like that. I hope. My hope is that it's Jacoby Brissett.
I wanted to talk to you about this and get your thoughts on this part of it. What were your thoughts on a lot of the rumors going around that the Eagles are now involved with Seattle and they're trying to make moves to go get their Russell Wilson, and it's like,
I'll trade my left testicle, my girlfriend, her entire body, my future girlfriend, maybe my future children.
If we can work something out, we send Jalen Hurts there. We give them that potential first rounder from Indianapolis next year, and maybe a second rounder somewhere else, and maybe another player. Please sign me up. I'm there, but I still think it's nonsense talk.
I'll trade them the entire defense. It's Russell Wilson. I hear you want everybody.
They can make it happen at this moment, anyways.
They're not trading for Russell. I mean, I don't see how they could afford that contract. I mean, it's just not happening. But realistically, I think the conversation would more be about. We know they're going to bring in a backup quarterback of some kind, whether they draft one, whatever the case might be. I really hope they don't draft a guy, but if they draft Justin Fields at 6, like I said, I'm driving into the Gulf of Mexico. You won't see me the week after the draft. You really won't.
Sean's already gone, but Malik, yeah, like I said, I already felt that one of the next cuts and/or trades would probably be on that defensive line.
Eric Barnett is not going to. We saved $10 million getting rid of him, correct?
Hey, listen, Ted. I just these idiots on social media. They just come up with stuff at times, and I'm like,
listen. I saw this. I saw somebody tell me. I saw somebody say, Now
I did see that Marcus Mariota is a potential landing spot.
I saw Mariota. I saw Tyrod Taylor. I saw.
Right.
I saw. Like I said, I saw Jacoby Brissett. I think Brissett is. Listen, Brissett played in Indy. He understands this system. He could step right in. And I think Jacoby Brissett can play a little bit. I mean, he's shown that he can play a little bit. He's not – nobody's saying he's going to come in and, be Donovan McNabb. But, the guy's not terrible. If Jalen Hurts gets hurt or if Jalen Hurts is really struggling and he's just not the guy, Jacoby Brissett's a guy that can step in and he can play well enough to keep you in football games. I wouldn't be mad about Mariota. I think he's good enough to do that too. Fitzpatrick's not going to sign here because he wants a chance to start, and I don't think that's happening here. The only guy I don't want in that conversation is Tyrod Taylor. We already have Tyrod Taylor. He's wearing Eagles jersey already, and he played 4 games last year, and he had a 52% completion percentage. And it's so funny to me. So he's like, "Oh, are you interested in Tyrod Taylor?" Like, no. It's like I've been telling people for years. Like, the only reason I'd be interested in Tyrod Taylor is because after months and months of telling people that Jalen Hurts is Tyrod Taylor, it would be so fitting to watch Tyrod Taylor be the backup quarterback while Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback and watch neither one of them be any better than the other. And I'm like, see what I mean? See how they're the same quarterback? That would be the only thing fitting that comes out of that. Is that the type see? They're the same fucking player. Other than that, Jacoby Brissett's the guy. But I think out of all the guys, he might take the most money to sign, which might be why you're seeing them try to make some of these moves. I really think with Nick Sirianni and his history, obviously, of working with Brissett, it would just make sense. It's almost a no-brainer for that to be the guy they bring in. Because then you do feel like I said, that, the plan is to go with Jalen, but if he struggles and he's, me and you have talked about, we it's no secret what we think of the kid. We hope he turns into something, special and it could be a really, really good player. Our eyes tell us something different at the moment. So if that's the case, I feel a lot more confident with a guy like Jacoby Brissett there, ready to take over and step in come week 6, 7, or 8, week 10, whatever the case might be, if things get bad enough. For me, if Tyrod Taylor's my backup and Jalen Hurts sucks, what the hell's the point of going to Tyrod Taylor? It's the same fucking thing. Marcus Mariota, okay, I'm intrigued with that for the same reasons. Okay, it's just something different. Go to him. He's won games. He's played in a playoff game. He started playoff. Okay, whatever. Knock yourself out.
There, I know why Brissett makes sense. I know why Tyrod Taylor would. I think the guy I would like is Mariota. He wouldn't.
I'm cool with Mariota too.
Wouldn't be necessarily perceived.
Do you think Mariota's better than Brissett though? You really think Mariota's better than Brissett?
No, I don't. I think Brissett is actually probably the better quarterback. But my thing is
that's
kind of
why
the same reason why you go and drafted him, right? It's kind of the perception that he isn't really the threat to Jalen Hurts, but he has the skill, the potential.
I don't give a fuck about that. You know what? No, fuck that, Steven.
Mariota was here.
Nah, I'm going to do my Shannon Sharp impression. Nah, Steven, because they put Carson Wentz through that nonsense. You have to look over your shoulder. Here's the new toy. He's here. You're looking over your shoulder at him. Make Jalen do the same goddamn thing. Nick's going to bring in his guy. We all know Jacoby Brissett played in Nick Sirianni's system. He knows the system. It kind of seems like it's Nick's guy. Nick can't pick him to come in here and be the backup quarterback. Anytime Jalen Hurts makes a mistake or makes a bad throw, poor decision, throws an interception, he's going to be looking over his shoulder at Jacoby Brissett. And you know what? God damn it, that's the way it should be.
He's injured a lot or not. He isn't meant to.
I just don't think he's a good enough player where it's not intriguing enough for me. Steven, I need to have a backup quarterback that I know can play.
Guys for dirt cheap. Hey, might as well take a runner on this guy.
But he can't play. He can't play. I need to have a backup quarterback that I know can at least play.
You don't know that yet.
I know for a fact Marcus Mariota can't play.
We've seen him play before. Stop.
I watched him throw a touchdown pass to himself in a playoff game. That's what I saw. He did. Yeah, threw the ball, it hit the defender's hands, came back into him, he caught it, and he ran 10 yards and dove into the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. It was unbelievable. I jumped off my couch when it happened. I was like, "Holy shit!" But if you thought, he threw a touchdown pass to himself. If it's so bad where you got to throw a touchdown pass to yourself in order to do anything in a playoff game, hold on. They brought him into the Raiders, Steven, because they thought that Derek Carr was going to struggle and he could take playing time from Derek Carr, and he couldn't even beat Derek Carr.
Give Hurts a season without having him have anyone looking over his shoulder, regardless if you feel he's competent enough as it is anyways.
They're going to bring somebody in.
We're in a retool season as it is anyways.
I agree with you, but it's okay. So say they bring in Mariota. Okay, so they bring in Mariota.
You restart the whole process next year and you go get a quarterback. You're not trying any one of those guys next year.
But you're telling me he's not looking over his shoulder if Mariota's the backup?
Why would he? Like you said, he's not a good quarterback.
Because if he stinks, he stinks. And it's not. This isn't like Nick Sirianni's not the guy that drafted it. Nick Sirianni's like, fuck you, bro. I don't give a. If you stink, I'm finding somebody else that can play better. Like, if Mariota's here, they're here because they at least thought he could play well enough to be the best. Hey, we need another quarterback in the room that we feel like can play at a high enough level that's worth being here. So say we're 8 weeks into the year and Jalen Hurts still has a 52% completion percentage. I mean, fuck it. I don't need to see any more of this garbage. I know he's not going to be my franchise quarterback going forward. Hell with it. Let me see what Mariota's got. Maybe at the very least, Mariota plays his way into a backup role next year, for the following year or something, But you can't tell me that like come week 12 we're sitting here having this conversation. Yeah, Jalen's not playing well, but what's the point of going to Mariota? The point is I don't have to sit here and punch myself in the face every day watching him miss wide open receivers. Like that's the point. Like
some will get it, some won't, my friend.
But I mean, listen, I'm cool. Like I already said, why do you think I don't want us to take a Justin Fields or somebody like that? I want Jalen Hurts to go into the season as the starting quarterback. I don't want us. The last thing I want us to do is to draft a Justin Fields at 6 and be like, all right, you guys are competing. This is all stupid. It's just one of the dumbest ideas I could ever. But that's why I think Howie might actually do it because he's the king of stupid. And you can't fix stupid, right? And as a daddy, parents always told us you can't fix stupid. It's an old Ron White comedy special. You can't fix it. And Howie is the king of stupid. So, you go draft a quarterback at 6, and this whole conversation's irrelevant.
And not fix stupid. It is what it is when it comes to that.
It is, exactly.
Now.
Don't overthink it. Kyle Pitts is the guy. I just need a playmaker. Just give me a guy that can make plays. Either side of the ball, Pitts or Surtain. You want to go offense, it's Pitts. You want to go defense, it's Surtain. Either way, I've got a guy that's a playmaker. Instead, we're going to draft Danny Watkins, younger cousin or something stupid.
You can't really sign a big free agent.
You can't sign nobody. I mean, like literally, like the best you're going to do is sign a backup quarterback to like a $10 million deal. I mean, that's literally the best you can do.
Ted, you're literally in the situation where your big signings is going to be through the draft. That's where your big signings going to be.
Exactly.
Or hope to find someone's recycled garbage.
That's why, like, if you draft a guy like Surtain and all of a sudden you have a playmaker on the other side of the defense, it's almost like that is a big free agent signing. You just brought in a guy that's an impact player, right? You draft a guy like Kyle Pitts who steps in, and I love what the scouting reports I'm reading about him now. He's not a tight end. He's not a wide receiver. I heard the scouting report today. He's the best wide receiver or tight end in the draft.
We don't know what that defense is going to be like under, we've been under Jim Schwartz, at least since 16 or so. So I mean,
having two really good corners helps any defensive coordinator, doesn't it? He can walk in and be like, "Oh, damn, I got both of you guys on you guys on an island on either side of the field. Ooh, I like this. I can work with this."
I'm with you, and I just think like if you really on defense, you just really need, somebody solid at linebacker, a couple guys who can cover, and then just a couple little pieces here and there, and they're not too bad. I mean, you would like some better production out of the defensive end, sure, and obviously that's something they're going to have to address at some point in time. But I mean, really,
but that's where you can take shots. Like that's a position where you can go draft a freaky athlete in the middle of the draft, the third, fourth, fifth round, and just hope that you strike. You know what I mean? You got a kid that's 6'5", 250, and hey, this kid's freaky, all types of athleticism, and coach him up. We got a new coaching, regime in here where I'm not going to sit here and be like, pessimistic from the start. My hope is that these guys get guys in here that they like, that they think fit their system, and they can coach them up to get the most out of them and make them productive players in their system. Like, I hope that the defensive guy that they brought in here is a guy that can step in and take some of these young linebackers that we have and be like, hey, Jim Schwartz he didn't even know linebackers were on the field. He's like, oh, you play linebacker? What's that? Like, this is somebody like maybe at least I can tune in.
Ted, you think this defense is the problem, not the offense?
See, I actually like Asante Samuel in the second round.
And you have to take, another wide receiver, whatever, or something that man. I'm not opposed to taking Asante Samuel's son.
Yeah,
second round. That's perfect.
Here's where I'm at. I think I might take Pitts with that 6th overall pick first. Kyle Pitts. I'm taking him at 6, and then because we have the extra pick, that extra 3rd round pick. If you need to, because if you really say, hey, we need to make sure we get Asante Jr., you can trade your way back into the tail end of the 1st round to make sure you get him, so that you don't have to wait and hope that he falls to you at the in the beginning of round 2. But you can go get Pitts at 1 and say with the 6th overall pick and say, man, wow, what an impact player he's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. And then I think Asante Jr. I think he's enough of an impact player. I really, really like him. He could step in. Great pedigree, right? You love the fact that Asante played here, understands Philly and all that. I love the idea of that kid. I think he's going to be a really, really, really good player in this league. So I would be cool if you're telling me long term what's better, taking Surtain with the 6th overall pick and then saying it's a crapshoot to see what happens at that second round pick. I think I might rather go Pitts with the 6th overall pick and knowing I have Samuel Jr. with the 2nd, just because I like knowing that both of them. Boom! I think both of them are sure thing studs. I think both of them step in and immediately play at a high level.
In a really good position at cornerback because you'll have Slay on one side. Arguably, you'll slide in Asante Samuel Jr. there, and Coleman. Regardless of what happens with LeBlanc or Avonte Maddox, whoever winds up being your additional corner in there. You figure out what you're doing with safety, and McLeod will come back. I don't know if you're going to stick with Mills or draft somebody, sign somebody.
Jalen's going to go. Well, no, that's going to be Kayvon Wallace's spot, isn't it? From Clemson last year, it's going to end up being Kayvon Wallace's spot. I would think they're going to let Jalen go. McLeod will be here, and Kayvon Wallace is probably going to step in and be the other safety.
I would hope they would really just hand the reins over to Kayvon. That'd be nice. I would assume with the linebackers are not going to really draft or sign anybody. I get, they're going to. We're developing Davian Taylor. You already know that's going to be the next thing.
And they converted the other guy. Who's the guy that just converted the linebacker? The former safety or defensive end or whoever he was. They just converted him to linebacker.
Was it Avery?
I think it was. Yeah, Jannard Avery.
Wasn't he initially a linebacker when he was in Cleveland?
He might have been, right. And then he came here. But yeah, like,
it's because we're changing defenses. So he's going to go from being the defensive end back to being that outside linebacker.
He could be a guy that, like, he could be a sneaky good player for us next year. You know what I mean? Like, that's a guy that, like, you're probably penciling in as a starter, like, right away. You know what I mean? Like, you at least know he can play at this level. You don't know if Davion Taylor can play at this level. You at least know Avery can play at this level. Singleton can play at this level. And then, you can figure out the other linebacker spot, right? But
yeah, I mean, TJ hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, and TJ Edwards can play at this level. That's true. And none of them. I'm not by saying that. We're not saying any of them are. We're not saying any of them are Pro Bowlers. We're not saying any of them are good, are like really good. But we're just saying they can play at this level, meaning they're going to have a roster spot. They're going to be guys that can, they're going to have minutes playing, out there at linebacker, regardless of who else we have or who else we draft. Those guys are going to see time at linebacker.
So Zach's mock's gonna be Pitts, Asante Samuel Jr. for the first 2 rounds.
Yes, I actually think that the Samuel Jr. pick though is going to turn into a second first-round pick. I actually think we're probably going to, if we want him, we're probably going to have to trade back into the tail end of the first round to get him. So I see us picking maybe 28 or so. Like we figure out a way to trade back in towards that spot of the first round and get him.
I mean, I'm with that. Like that sounds good to me. I understand Pitts is probably the most athletic, well-rounded receiver that you have in the draft.
I just think he's a playmaker, and our offense needs playmakers. Like I don't care who they are. I don't care what position it is. Our offense needs playmakers, and I think that's what he is.
Stay with that 12 personnel at that point in time, or are you gonna, or do you see them getting rid of a good guy?
I think you can get creative because, like we said with Pitts, you can line him up at tight end, but he's one of those guys that's probably going to play off the line of scrimmage a lot, regardless. He's going to line up in the slot. He's going to line up outside. You're going to find a way to get him in motion and find mismatches. He's just a problem. That's what he is. He's a guy that's going to line up all over the place and just wreak havoc on the other team's defense. And that's what today's NFL is. Like Travis Kelce's a tight end, but he can line up outside and just go manhandle a defensive back too. Like, it's really he's just a tight end because you have to list him at a position. Like the NFL's gotten to a point where like you've got guys that play all over the field and whatever they're labeled at from position wise, that's just their label. That's not really what they are. And I think Pitts is going to be that guy. He's going to be labeled as a tight end, but you're probably, for all intents and purposes, you could call him a wide receiver too, because he's got wide receiver feet. He's going to line up playing wide receiver. He's going to line up against other teams' defensive backs, and I think he's going to have no problem being able to dominate, wherever he lines up on the field. And I think that's the key to it all. It doesn't really matter, what position he is. You can play some 12 personnel, sure. Have him line up with your second tight end. You could also then get creative and move him off the line of scrimmage, and now you're really wrecking havoc on another team's defense because you still have 2 tight ends on the field, but one of them's lined up off the line of scrimmage as a wide receiver, and that's the creativity. I've been begging for how many years with Doug Peterson that it just seemed like we didn't get. When we wanted it, we just didn't get it when we wanted it, and I'm hoping we're going to see that type of stuff from Nick Sirianni now. I think it's never a bad thing to feel like you have the ability to be creative, and Kyle Pitts gives you the ability to do so many things offensively that you didn't have the ability to do before. So how can you hate that? How can you pass on that type of guy? You can do. That's why I like him more than a guy like Chase there. A guy like Jamar Chase, he could be a dominant outside receiver. But you can do so much more with a guy like Pitts. He's so much more versatile. There's so many more things you can do as an offense with that guy. You know what I mean? There's so many more things you can design and scheme around him than you can a guy like Jamar Chase, who's just a conventional outside receiver.
Well, hopefully it plays out for us that way. We got about 10 minutes or so before we're going to be joined by Lions fighter Andy Nguyen. Wanted to real quick touch on UFC 259. Obviously 3 big fights tonight as 3 titles will be on the line. And
I agree with Tom down there. I think Parsons would be a phenomenal pick for the Lions there. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why really hoping for Don. They need some love over there, But UFC 259. You got middleweight champion Israel Adesanya going up again, up in weight, and he's going to be going against Jan Blachowicz, who is now the lightweight champion there. After John Jones vacated the title going up for his heavyweight aspirations. You got Amanda Nunes is the women goat there. The champ is going against arguably her biggest competition, literally and figuratively, in Megan Anderson, who roughly about 6 foot tall. It's an interesting fight there for sure, and obviously you have the flyweight title on the line with Pierre Yan and the Funky Man now, Jermaine Sterling.
Funky Man? That's his nickname?
They call him the Funk Master. That's why I call him the
Funk Master. I might have to watch just because he's got the Funk Master nickname. Now, Steven, I don't want to be a rude host, so before our guest gets here, I've got to go do something real quick.
Yeah, Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master, Algio.
There we go. I've got to go drain the main vein real quick before our guest gets here because you got mad at me the last time I did it.
Both
in the middle of our interview.
We're voting for weight cutting that she's gonna have to take bathroom break. Then I got you with your baby bladder, so just saying I gotta take a pee. I gotta take a pee.
Whatever. Just put my camera off. Tom takes piss breaks all the time in the middle of the goddamn show. Holy shit. Jesus. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Wait till I get her on and then go take your little piss break, you little wainer.
Well, you want me to wait and then go?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you wait. You can hold it.
Oh, well, okay, but I figured you thought that would be rude, so.
I mean, technically it would, but technically it wasn't because you let me know prior to, and I guarantee you, she won't mind, especially with what she's going through. It was like I said, a lot of the athletes, they border load for their weight cut, so that's what she's doing. So she probably has to pee like every 5 minutes. So she was like, "How long is the interview again?" Water loading.
Yes.
I mean, I got. Listen, there ain't no stopping the style bender. I love Izzy. Jan is definitely a game guy. Didn't really care for how he looked at for that weight cut. And listen, Megan Anderson is a bad female, and she's gonna be the future of that 145-pound division. But somebody gotta show me something to take it from Amanda Nunes. She's dominated just about everyone in that weight class. Doesn't matter how big, how tall, how short, how seemingly invincible. She ran through Ronda Rousey like she was nothing. She ran through Chris Cyborg like she was nothing. And then the only other greatest female render is the Bullet Valentina Shevchenko, and Valentina couldn't touch her either. So yeah.
That's impressive.
But what I'm concerned about is you're talking about the main event, and no one's talking about my boy Sean Brady's about to continue his undefeated streak and his rise through the UFC's middleweight rankings as he has one of the early prelim fights. No, we had former guest here on Weekly Roundup, Chris Dawkins is now in the top 10 here in the UFC 11-0. So Brady's another one of these Philly guys, needs to get some love. So if you guys are have your ESPN Plus UFC Fight Pass, whatever it is, make sure you guys are tuning in to watch Sean throw down. That dude is a brick house and will be the champion of that division. I promise you guys that at some point in time. You also have the former bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz going against Casey Kenny, which should be another fun one. He's another bright prospect, and Dominic is one of these guys you don't really see him as much as you used to, as active as he used to be. Don't bother me one bit. Love hearing him behind the mic. The guy that is going to be the heir apparent to Joe Rogan, so to speak. So take that for what it's worth. Are you
Joe Rogan for president, 2024.
Are you going with? Are you going to be watching the UFC tonight? I know you're not the big MMA fan. 3 big title fights. I'm trying to sell you with the. With Algio, man. Algio is fun to watch, like for real, man.
I'll probably be watching something else, to be honest.
I'll give you a freaking. I'll find you one of the.
Listen. To be honest, it all depends because
I'll find one of the free sites for you, so you'd be able to
No, it's on. Oh, it's on pay-per-view. Oh, fuck, I'm not watching it. I might unless I go across to the Hooters. But the Hooters. How about I've got a Hooters right across the street from my apartment. I don't know why I don't go there more often.
Isn't everything like the Buffalo Wild Wings now? It's not Hooters anymore.
Well, but there's not a Buffalo Wild Wings right across the street from my apartment. There's a Hooters, so.
I get it. It's out of convenience.
If there was a Buffalo Wild Wings right across the street, I'd be going there. Trust me, that place is banging, but there's not.
Nah, but I mean, it's a big fight tonight. John had vacated that title, and Izzy is going up from middleweight to light heavyweight. Amanda Nunes is literally gonna cement her legacy if she defeats Megan Anderson tonight. Megan, literally, the size discrepancy is insane, but all you gotta do is land one on the chin. And Amanda's the best for a reason.
Does she go by the preacher's daughter? Is that her?
Who? No, you're thinking Holly Holm.
Holly Holmes. Oh,
yeah, that's the one who first stopped Ronda.
Oh.
Amanda Nunes is the one who completely broke her spirit. Back in the cage again.
I see. Made her quit and go to WWE.
I wouldn't blame her for that. Like, you always kind of had the feeling that that's kind of what she wanted to kind of walk away and kind of.
She always had that type of swagger about her. I've always felt like McGregor had that swagger about him, and I don't know, if he wanted to be a millionaire, which he clearly does, and he loves being an entertainer. Like, dude, the WWE would fucking love him.
All right, well, hold on. Looks like our guest is in the back here. So, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to be joined by our guest for this afternoon, Lions fight fighter Andy the Crazy Nguyen. Good afternoon, my friend. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm awesome. We're, just having a little fun on our side of things.
Steven's making fun of me.
My friend, it's been quite some time since me and you caught up. Back in the audio only days, I had to do a little talking with you on that one. You're like, wait, is it video or audio? What's going on here?
Yeah.
So again, appreciate the time, and so much has gone on for you since the last time me and you caught up. You're a matchmaker now for King of the Cage. Last I checked, so you're adding more things into your hat there, my friend.
Oh yeah. Yep, a jack of trades. Yep.
So, how did that come about? That's kind of as still being a kind of active athlete in the sport, and also you're also doing matching for them. How did that whole situation come about?
The owner of King of the Cage, Terry Trebelock, was like, we're coming to the South, around your area, and I was like, oh, I want to fight, and then I was like, nah. I don't want to fight in front of my hometown. I was like, it's always you want to do that when you're an amateur, you get out there, and then now it's too much pressure. You don't want to. You have so many people you don't want to disappoint, so it's too much for me. I like to fight out of town. I like to fight obviously outside the country, and so I was like, nah. I was like, how about matchmake? I bet you. I know a lot of people, and so he was like, let's try that out. So. The first one was really stressful. It got rained on because it was an outdoor event. The cage was in a baseball field. But and in order to have the fight card saved, we had to have at least like a number amount of fights, and so we had to change some of the fights into title fights to make it more rounds, and then it worked. And ever since then, and then it got easier. So I've only matched 4 for them so far, but it's a lot more stressed out. I mean,
yeah, because now you're on the other end of things, seeing how things go, and you're probably like, wait a minute, I was really mean to some matchmakers over there. Maybe I should have been.
I was never mean.
No,
I was,
like not you specifically, just like you've had either friends or have been in situations they just like completely lose it on a matchmaker, just fight fall through, or you just think something happens or whatever. And then all of a sudden you have the shoes on the other foot, and you see how things kind of just fall apart and snowball real quickly in that aspect. So it's kind of like you got a little different perspective on it now.
Yeah. He always told me that like he always wanted me to be a staff member, and I thought like fighting. I didn't know what he meant. So like I thought maybe an announcer or something like like what Laura Sanko does. But I actually like it. He pays me well. It's just it's more stressful than being a fighter for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of stressful, Steven, you said that our guest would have a special connection with, I guess, the current issue that I'm going through.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom there, buddy. Go ahead. Go to the bathroom.
He said, then the fact that you're trying to cut weight, that you could appreciate how bad, having to pee, every few minutes. And he wanted me to wait until a special time to make sure that I left. I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to be rude and just not be here when you joined us. So.
I already told him. I was like, I'm going to be peeing. Like,
I told you.
Awesome.
Amy gives no fucks. She just tells you how it is.
Yeah. Pretty much. I try to.
And actually, speaking of which, I got, we just had your opponent on yesterday. I was talking to her.
Oh, I feel bad for you.
Cool girl, met her nice, and I, talked about her. Obviously, she didn't have anything nice to say. I obviously I missed some things. So something about, I guess she didn't care for something you said that, something about lying or something. I'm like, hey, listen, I don't know nothing. So obviously, tensions are a little flared right now. Like, what was going on? Are you pushing her buttons a little bit? What's going on?
No, she told her promoter that she would fight me, but then she couldn't fight on this card. And then like this, and then another promoter. So then I just tagged her on Facebook. It's just social media, and I was like, "Hey, you said you're gonna tell you told these promoters that you're gonna fight me, but you won't fight me here or there." So Line Fights had signed her, and I was like, well, you can't run away now. So I think she's still thinking about the past. It's not like I was pushing her buttons or anything. I was just calling out how I see it. Like, she told promoters, they showed me screenshots of her saying that she would fight me, but then she wouldn't want to fight at that weekend or something, or during that time. It has to be on her terms. I don't know what it is. Who cares? And then she got mad.
Yeah, how it is sometimes, if you want to take something, you want to make sure like everything lines up the way you need it to. I mean, I get it from that aspect of it, but I guess it's the politics that we have to deal with inside the combat sports world.
Yeah, so I guess she's still worked up on it.
I always say like sometimes it's all about perception. Sometimes like we can perceive things like somebody's saying something in a manner that we don't really understand it, and it gets taken the wrong way sometimes, and now all of a sudden we have a disagreement. We don't really have a disagreement, we just have a miscommunication.
Yeah, well, I don't care. And
most
grammar
doesn't matter what happens now, because you guys are gonna fight, and then after the fight, you shake hands, talk about it, and move on.
I don't think I'm gonna shake her hand.
Is that deep, Andy? Damn.
I think I want to shake her hand. I think she probably would want a rematch of anything, and that'd be great.
Fair enough. I guess no love lost between Andy and Crystal. Like I said, I think we might need to have an extra person on the stage to make sure these two ladies don't put their hands on one another. It's gonna be a fun one coming March 12th. Like I said, I thought it was gonna be a fun fight just because you're always ones that's in there, and it's one of these things. You think the judges are going to be needed for this? Are you gonna be able to stop this one, or do you think it's going to be a little bit of a technical fight?
I mean, I worked on my cardio just in case it goes to 5 rounds if she gets lucky or something. I don't know. I kind of want to finish early so I could get a drink. I haven't drank in so long. I want to play. I did 2 fight camps back to back, so it's just stressful and just you're at the end of the road where I'm just like I'm so done right now. I'm just ready to see my family and just done with this.
So you're getting back to the end of fight camp. So you're getting to Arnold Crazy Andy is about to pop out, right?
I guess.
So obviously you said you just did 2 camps back to back, and you're getting to that point. Is after this fight, what are you doing? Are you taking some time off? Vacay time, spending time with friends and family. What are you getting into?
Are you asking me or him?
I'm asking you, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking him. I was
He don't care about me. Trust me. We're not talking about me.
well, I want to go see my kid. I haven't seen him since Christmas. He stays with his grandmother. I just want freedom. It's just, just a little more freedom. I would
Don't we all?
Beach or something and just chill, just relax. Like, don't have to go be at doing cardio. And I don't know. It's just a little bit more freedom.
Sometimes the grind wears the fighter down sometimes, huh?
Yeah.
But, again, Lions fights put on a good one. What are other fights besides yours? Like, are you looking forward to? Obviously the heavyweight tournament's going on. I got big love for Joe Strickland getting ready to get his chance to go after the Lion fight heavyweight title. What are you looking forward to on that card besides your fight? Besides getting your drink as well.
Yeah, there's some big guys. I mean, that's some big guys. Like when you hear that stage, it's loud. The main event, the black guy, I was watching his videos. He moves really well for a heavyweight. He's really mobile. So I'm excited to see that. I want to see this new production, how it's going to work with line fights. It's called Sparta. His name is Jeff Cincenario, something like that, from Colorado. He's also a promoter. I was supposed to fight for him I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I fought for everybody. I mean, so for him to do this media work and this, seeing a different stage, and I'm just excited for all that. I'm excited that, I'm fortunate and lucky to be able to fight. I didn't get to fight at all last year. So
yeah, I mean, it was rough for everyone last year. That's what I wanted to ask you. You said you just had several camps back to back. It's been real rough on a lot of fighters who aren't, in a lot of the major promotions. So, how rough was COVID on you? And like I said, what is getting to this fight meaning to you? Outside of just a paycheck.
Well, because I get to smash Crystal's face. Other than that, during COVID, I gained a lot of weight, and it was just hard. It was hard to stay focused because all the gym were closed. I would eat everything. I would drink because you didn't have to work the next day or go to the gym. It just didn't matter. I gained a lot of weight. I'm looking at those pictures, and I can't believe that I got that big. So I was very happy when I got this fight. And 6 weeks ago, I just fought. I needed that fight 6 weeks ago. So it's a smaller stage. I want to knock the rust off. So I know this will be,
kind of get your tune up to kind of get back into things after.
Yeah, getting back into things. I was very active. You remember me even as an amateur. I fought every 3 months. I was always busy. It didn't matter which weight class. I was just fighting. So
you're like, flyweight, sure. Strawweight, sure. Let's do it.
yeah. But I'm just glad it's starting to come back up and everything, and we'll see. I'm just trying not to get COVID either.
Yeah, because see, that's the other thing. But I know a lot of people are worried about it, but in things like that, because it messes up a lot of things. Not just obviously getting sick and having to worry about getting other people sick and stuff like that, but it's just this whole thing is just a rough process for everyone. So you have to be super cautious about everything. So I'm sure on top of having the fight, on top of not having fought in a while, you having all these other additional stresses and stuff like that. Is there any other changes to your routine as COVID having to make leading up towards this fight?
Oh my gosh. Have you ever ran with the mask on? You have to run with the mask on in the gym. Oh my gosh, it sucks. And I'm wearing the scarf kind, so then it collects.
The gaiters, yeah. You got the.
I'm suffocating. It's terrible. Besides that, yeah, that's about it.
Listen, that's why I said I won't do the mask. We got the gaiters. No mask here. No.
No mask. No mask.
I mean, my face is covered, but no, I can't.
They won't let me wear a gaiter at my job. I work at Wawa. I'm not allowed to wear gaiters. We have to wear masks. So to circumvent that rule, like the rebel that I am today, I wore the gaiter and then I put a mask over it because technically I wasn't breaking rules. And they hated it. You could tell my boss hated it, but he knew he couldn't do anything about it.
So you were being a rebel.
Always. I mean, Steven will tell you. That's what I do. That's just me.
Zach likes to push buttons when he can.
Always. That's it. I mean, that's what it makes life fun.
Now we got a big fight tonight. I want to get your thoughts on, Maina Nunes is basically looking to put that last little niche in her legacy here if she's able to dispatch of Megan Anderson tonight. And real interesting for Megan on a bunch of different levels. I believe it's her last fight under contract for the UFC. Real weird that you don't normally allowed to see a lot of times that fighters fighting for titles are on the last fight of their contract because it really.
He can do whatever, and he's closing out that 140 featherweight division for the women's anyway. That's why Amanda Nunes doesn't care if they close it out, which is selfish because there's other girls that's in line from other promotion that wants to fight her, but she doesn't care if it closes out. And you're saying I didn't even know it was the last fight for Megan Anderson. It's just that Cyborg's not there anymore. Cyborg's with Bellator, so who's doing the featherweight? So. Yeah, that sucks. Megan Anderson's probably going to just end up going to Bellator.
You think it's Bellator? You don't think Invicta wind up slinging her back? Because I know they
but why do that when you're already up at that level? And if you have to get better, so you have to go over to those girls that you have.
Be a better option for the heavier ones, since that's where you're seeing Clarissa Shields going. That's where you see Kayla Harrison right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm sitting there saying, if I'm Megan Anderson, I'm sitting there saying I want to be the best, and the UFC does close out that 45. If I want to do that, I want to go to PFL because that's where I'm going to be challenged at.
Oh yeah.
That's not to take it away from what Bellator.
That $1 million tournament
or anything. Those two names right there would be at the top of my list, and knowing that. My first contract in the UFC, PFL will probably be more inclined to pay her a little bit better to go and fight those girls.
PFL is doing a really good job. Kayla Harrison, did she fight at 155 though, right?
Yeah, but see, I think that they've been kindly slowly working her down.
Because there's nobody else up there.
Yeah, because I think it's one of those things they're trying to explain to her listen, there's no one up there for you to fight. There's no one. I mean, she fights at 55. You're correct, but who else are you going to get to keep going up there?
Yeah, nobody. Why would go up a weight class?
Why am I going to put myself at a disadvantage so I can?
Yeah, there's two big names on the 45 or three, so she should definitely. That's what Ronda Rousey did when she was an amateur to even the beginning of her pro. She was fighting at
45.
45, and then she switched down to 35.
I mean, it's smart when you're, if you're doing it just as an amateur, just so you don't really have to worry about cutting weight or anything. You can just fight naturally and free, not have to worry about it. Then as she became a pro, it's just something became more, fighting close to the, your optimal weight. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But like I said, really, really kind of an intriguing thing there. Now, another thing I want to ask you about, obviously, again, been a while since me and you caught up. bare knuckle boxing has kind of really blown up recently, and we're starting to see a lot more female athletes go over there. I don't really think that may be your cup of tea, but what do you think of kind of their growth and their popularity, like at least over the last 2 years, and starting to see some of those female stars head over there?
It's exciting to watch. I admit it's exciting to watch, but I let those young girls do it.
That's what I was saying.
It's not in my bucket.
I think I know you well enough, Andy, and I know that ain't your cup of tea.
No. They offered me like $2,000 when they first started, and I was like, man, just mess up my face. They'll be like, no more photo shoots. I can't make no side hustle with my posters or calendars. Nah. They'll probably offer me more now if I talk to them, but I don't want to. I'd rather do a right elbow than throw a right with nothing on my hand. That's just it's not for me, but it's for other girls.
That's what the beautiful part about combat sports is. You have these other avenues where you can kind of get you can take the fights in Muay Thai with lion fights and stuff like that.
Yes,
it's one of the things I talk to a lot of the fighters and the athletes about is MMA fighters just have this weird thing that they just open doors that normally they don't get to open, like where you're starting to see a lot more MMA fighters getting involved in acting, movies, TV, etc. And with all that being said, like you even said, like you're the things that you and Andrew do, with the posters and everything like that, your guys' side hustles. What are some of the things as you're getting towards like this latter part of your career? What are some of these other doors that you're hoping you can get involved in and open up?
Matchmaking. I want to keep on doing the matchmaking. Commentating, I have to watch what I say, and I don't know if I could do that. Like sometimes I might.
Yeah, you got to find a promotion
slip up.
major networking part where you can just kind of say whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Or better yet, actually, you should talk since you want to do it that way, right? Actually have like a thing where you can stream the what the fights are going on, and you're actually like kind of still doing what you want. It's not a part of the broadcast, but somehow you make it connected to the promotion,
Yeah, exactly. Like Icon, like I saw Pearl Gonzalez commentating last night, and I commented on her. She looked good. I know there's things that she wanted to say and she couldn't say it, and she had to watch what she says. She had to speak a little slower so then she doesn't mess up. And I don't want to think too much. I already have to think a lot when I'm matchmaking. I rather not commentate. I still like to be in the sport somehow, which is that I would like to.
Yeah, a lot of fighters, some go to coaching, some go to management, some want to get into promoting. Like some find other ways to kind of stay involved in the sport. Matchmaking's great. Like, listen. It's a great way to kind of keep involved where you don't have to really have the team stress. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. And like, I never really watched a whole fight card. And when I built one, I was like, I'm staying to watch the whole thing. Like, I want to know who wins because I matched them. I'm like, I talked to them. This is the guy that didn't put his blood work in on time. This is the person that gave me hell. I want his ass beat. Like stuff like that. I just have like my own little war. So that's kind of
cool. Obviously, matchmaking being a thing you want to get into, you ever think about like 10, 15 years from now, Andy starts her own promotion?
I don't know. That's so stressful. I hate being stressed. I don't deal well with stress.
Yeah, but now that you build the right team around you.
I guess maybe. We'll see. I'm still like a baby in this.
It's a baby, like I said. You start with little goals, but if you don't eventually have bigger goals, what are you going to push yourself towards?
Exactly, I understand. There's a lot of things up in the air. I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Hey, like a lot of things can change in life. That's why I said, it's like I always say about you athletes. You guys have so many layers that you have to pull back, and we find out more things that are unique and interesting, and that connects us all in some way. So it's. Like I said, it's we got a lot of things. I'm sure you got a lot of fun things going on in the future for you that you can't let us know about yet. I know you guys are always coming up with cool things between the cameras, the photo shoots and the stuff like that. But anything else that you guys are working on that the fans would know about? Memorabilia, stuff like that they could kind of get going on with what you guys do.
I got some cool shirts on my website, and like you get my calendars there. The beef jerky's sold out right now. I gotta get you a beef jerky. Did I send you a beef jerky?
No, you just sent me the calendar.
Ah, dang it! All right. I got your address. I'll send you some beef jerky.
But Andy, you know how we wrap these things up. We typically throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, sponsors, anything else that you're working with. The time is yours, my friend.
Well, that's it right there. You see all my sponsors, Drip RX, they help me cut weight. Combat Club is the gym that the owner, Brad Williams, been working his butt off on, like with me the whole 6, 12 weeks, whatever. Amber Sports, they sent me gear and bags or anything I needed during the pandemic when the gyms were closed. Glove Touch, Mike Barnaby and Oliver, they're like a father and son fight fans. Go follow them. Colton Pratt, he's always been there for me. Let's see, Paul's been there since I was an amateur. Egg weights, you got to get some of those egg weights because it's great for shadow boxing. Thanks for having me on the show, Steven.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. And are we going to see a signature entry for this fight?
Depends if the entry is big or long. I don't know. Depends on how long it is. It's not going to be like Ryzen.
So, Zach, just so in case you don't know, Andy is an absolute show woman when it comes to walking to the cage. So hopefully we're able to grace the fans with another great performance. Other than that, guys, if you haven't checked out Andy, if you don't have UFC Fight Pass, please make sure you guys go head over. Make sure you check out that fight. It's gonna be an amazing one. Again, Lions Fight Heavyweight Tournament is also going to be going on as well. As always, Andy, best of skill. We'll catch up as always. Appreciate the time and have a good one. Be safe.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That was Andy Nguyen. Definitely always a place. She seems like she is beyond ready to go. Yeah, see how he's acting? That's how pretty much Andy was the whole time. Like, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. I'm going to fuck her up. I'm going to fuck her up. Were you getting that feeling from her?
Yeah, she definitely was. She wasn't shy, and then she, you were talking to my opponent. Oh, how unfortunate! Like this type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's no filter, no chill. She just keeps it 100. I love her. She's awesome. Appreciate her time, and like I said, that's gonna be a fun fight. She don't want it to go to the judges. She don't think it's gonna go to the judges. I think it's gonna be a fun fight. I mean, both of them always throw down. Andy always comes to fight. It's not like she's not one to back away. Obviously, you can hear that from talking to her. Another fun one, guys. Appreciate Andy for the time. Appreciate Scott Kent, guys over at Lions Fight for hooking us up with their fighters. Hopefully, we should have one or two more on this week, leading up to the last week here before they get into the nitty gritty here for the last week or so for Lions Fight 64. And anything you want to add before we get ready to spin this one up, brother?
No.
I do. I mean, I'll make the announcement at the end that we already talked about before we went on air.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. We've covered pretty much everything.
We covered all the bases this week for real.
Beating the dead horse as much as we possibly could.
They didn't want to make a quick announcement for everyone who does tune in for us every weekend, and we appreciate the love. We will be moving forward. We will not be on our typical 4 to 6 slot. We're going to be moving to 8 o'clock. Between scheduling stuff with Zach and everything, so we don't have to continually move things around, make things easier.
I can make cash money and come entertain the people.
But yeah, so we'll be pushing it back to the 8 o'clock. There'll be some more programming going on in the afternoons over the next few days, weeks. You know, you might be seeing my face a little bit more too. Who knows? I don't know. We'll figure it all out when it comes to pace. Just wanted to let everyone know that we will officially be moving to 8 p.m. So just slightly adjust your dial. You still get to see our ugly mugs every Saturday 8. Night now. It's night. What? I'm the only ugly one?
You wish you could have locks like this. You wish.
But again, another fun one in the books. You know, appreciate everyone for always tuning in. Oh, Big Play Slay's back with us.
What's up, Darius?
You missed this. We just missed the announcements. We adjusted the time.
Talking about your paper.
We adjusted the time. You'll be able to catch more of us moving forward, since obviously, you know, everyone's getting ready for this time adjustment. Bryce, Big Play, hopefully Don, Prism, and all will be able to see them a little bit more when it comes to you know, getting our regulars back into the chat there. So, but this was another fun one. We will be back next Saturday. It'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and you know, again, appreciate all the love from everyone, and you know, appreciate the sponsors. And you know, real quick, obviously, this episode was brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, and I wanted to put the thing up there, but I missed it. There you go. That's the one I was looking for. Always give the love to our Dr. Paul Vidal. So, again, make sure you guys are tuning in, like, subscribe. Believe, again, In This Very Ring will be on this afternoon, this evening, and we'll be back. Peace.